Welcome to Everyday Disciple, where we're trying to make disciples that make disciples that make disciples. And today, my guest is Colton Christensen, the associate pastor at FBC. And so we wanted to kind of come to you and have a discussion around the sermon that was done. Now, we're filming this on Monday, so the sermon was done yesterday. Colton, what did you think?
I think first we got to let them know why we're filming on Monday, because we filmed yesterday. And the two of us jabronis couldn't figure out how to work the sound.
Facts.
So we got a beautiful video where we're talking, but you can't hear what we're saying.
You can't hear a thing.
So we did have to pull in some help today. Joshua Spray is back behind the screen, and he's helping us out. Thank you, Josh. So we need you, bro.
Oh my goodness, dude! And it was so much better than what you're going to get today. And I'm just saying, if we could do it like we did it at all yesterday, that would be phenomenal.
For sure. But I am excited to talk about today.
Yes.
It was a great service. I mean, packed house. We had to bring in more chairs. Our deacons did a fantastic job once again. But the message and the parenting part of it, it pulled me in when we had that pocket list of red flags.
Oh, that's right.
And I did bring my notes with me since we are a day separated. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget them.
We don't want to forget them.
Yeah, didn't want to forget them. So we had my truth. We had faith being mocked and minimized. Identities built on feelings, and then love redefined as total agreement.
The love on the total agreement, that's the piece that I think is often missed and misconstrued, because the Bible says that God is love. And so because that, many in culture have taken that and said, so if you love me, then you will affirm everything that I'm doing. And a red flag for parents, and I know that you're doing this in groups, my hope is that as you're talking about this, that maybe you can speak to that piece as how it relates to your life. Because yes, we do love them as long as we talk about the truth. And so it needs to be kind of like, I've used this analogy before, that it's a bicycle pedaling. Like I'm loving someone, but I'm speaking the truth at the same time. And if I'm doing both, then we're actually moving forward. If I'm only doing one, eventually I'm going to just fall completely off to one side or the other.
Well, for sure. And then also on that love redefined as total agreement, makes me think of the difference between kind and nice that we've discussed so much. That redefining as total agreement, we feel when someone disagrees with us, then they must not love us anymore. I see it a lot in my own parenting struggles. When you have to parent and you're not agreeing with something the child wants to do, then the unloved emotion kind of comes into play.
100%. So remembering, that's a good point, remembering that kindness is a gift, a fruit that the Spirit gives to us to help us as we walk through life. It's one of the 9. And so the ability to be nice is actually a very narcissistic way of living, because nice says, I want to be made much of by you. So I'm going to be nice to you so that you can be making much of me because I'm nice to you. Well, in parenting, that never works. And so as what we're trying to do in culture is to make disciples that make disciples. And we started with parenting because we want to help you begin all of this process at home. And I think that those 4, if you put them, like we called it a pocket list of red flags. And so if you did this and you put this in your journal, and you're going to talk about it in your life group, or you're talking about it now, I would just say, man, watch out for those, because all of them are real and extremely true. And your kids are actually having to walk through it, whether you believe that they're true or not. And that's the key.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so in the youth ministry, because I get to serve at the yard every week, I've gotten to see all of these things firsthand.
Yeah.
And when you named them from stage, it's like, yep, seen that one, seen that one.
Boom.
But then as you continued, you kind of caught me off guard in the message. You went a different direction with the sermon. You made a couple of statements that I wrote down. They weren't on the screen, but you said that parenting is more caught than taught. And 100%. Then you later on you made the comment, you cannot teach your kids anything you first do not know. So it really pushed in a lot on some self-reflecting. So how are you acting? How are you living out your faith, or living out what you're asking your children to do? And I really enjoyed that part.
Dude, since I've got 3 kids, you know this. They are always watching. and they watch your mistakes. They watch how you respond when crisis happens and stress happens. And I don't always handle it correctly. But man, over the years, I have learned that because they're always watching, I want to celebrate some of the successes that's happening in parenting too. And so I would love for all parents just to say, okay, if I have to go and tell my child that I'm sorry because of something that I said or that I did, that's something that they are catching. And I know that we'll get here in a second with the 6 nuggets.
Yeah, chicken nuggets.
No, I love those
nuggets,
McNuggets, yeah. And the dipping sauce.
In the toy.
Yeah, in the toy.
You gotta get the Happy Meal.
But the old toys are so much better than the new toys.
Oh, definitely. The new toys are terrible.
My wife and I took our kids there, I think it was yesterday after church, and they've got the new boxes now on the Nuggets where they got the old school characters. And so we were like, oh, this is really, really cool. But we're not talking about Nuggets. We're talking about parenting. And so what was the 6 nuggets that we talked about yesterday in the sermon?
I want to ask you something, though. Have you ever been in the situation where you're trying to parent one of your 3 kids, and then they look back at you and say, but I've seen you do this before?
Oh, heck yeah. Like
man.
Yesterday.
Whew, it happens a lot.
And every time that they, like driving or getting to a spot where you're wanting them to respond to somebody without frustration. And oftentimes what I have found to be true is the things that frustrate me the most in my kids are the very things that I struggle with. Because I struggle with them and frustrated and insecure about them and myself, I then try to take it out on my kids because I'm frustrated with the things and I see them doing the very thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's like, Lord, am I ever going to get sanctified?
He's still working.
He's still working.
Praise God.
Your little McNuggets.
So then these 6 nuggets that we got, they're there to help us live this out so that parenting can be caught and not so much taught. Because whenever the kids see it, then they're going to want to repeat it.
Yep.
So those 6 nuggets, we'll just kind of go through them, then we can talk about it.
Sure.
Let them watch you forgive. I said we're going to go through them. I got to stop right here because that's such a big one. Not just watch you forgive someone else, but let them be the recipient of you forgiving them when we make the mistake.
Yeah.
And gosh, that's heavy.
So one of the key elements, I didn't put it into the sermon, it was in my heart and notes, I just didn't have time to get there, is most of the time when I'm trying to forgive someone, if my kids are watching me and how I interact with their mother, how I interact with Trina, that tends to be the tell sign for them because they know that I'm a pastor and supposed to be nice to everybody, right? Or at least kind. But if I'm treating their mom well, if I'm loving her and there's forgiveness in us, because there's no tension. If there's tension in the house between mom and dad, definitely the kids are going to find that out and they're going to feel it.
For sure.
And so for me, how I treated Trina, their mama, played a significant role in them looking to say, okay, if dad's treating mama like this and mama's treating dad like this, then I can emulate it, the good and the bad. And so that was a special one. Didn't make it in the notes, so I figured I'd give it to them as a small little, like maybe a 7-piece.
What did make it in there, you said, because I've received so much grace and mercy from God, I want to give it away. And I had to write that one down. I really enjoyed that part of that nugget. Number 2, serve together. Got to see so much of that with the bags that we just finished doing.
That was
really cool.
Yeah.
The 3rd nugget, handle stress with faith.
Oof.
So personally, this was the one that I chose as my focus point for this week. When that stress sets in, whether it be life, work, ministry, I tend to want to control it. Not so much live by faith, but live by what can I do in my own strength. So that's one where I knew I could do a lot better.
Yeah, facts.
Number 4, speak kindly, even when you're frustrated.
Yeah, we've talked about this one. Yeesh.
Yeah, I think from stage you said this was the one you chose this week.
But this week, last week, the week prior to it, and the week prior to it, because it just creeps up. This is the parts I don't have my feelings well. I get frustrated, or I laugh, I talk a lot. The expressions, my body language, none of those things get hidden. You don't have to shake your head. Josh is shaking his head at me off camera, y'all. It's like, Dad's doing it.
You got to get a better sound.
You got to get better, yeah. Somebody that just agrees with me. So I would say that yes, and whether that be in driving or that be in handling difficult people, I think those things are extremely important, and your kids are watching you how to do it. And so if I'm speaking kindly, again, not nice, but kind in my frustration, and then helping them understand that when I don't, there's reconciliation or a seeking after. Okay, so like if I said something to you in frustration, be like, okay, not only did I not speak kindly to you, but also now I got to come to you and say, dang, Colton, I did this again. Bro, would you forgive me? I shouldn't have spoken this to you out of frustration. And so that's the model of the first chicken nugget that we had that we dipped in ranch sauce.
Yeah.
This one we're dipping in sweet and sour.
I don't like sauce, but
I do not like sweet and
you
sour.
can just go ahead and keep those.
Man, ketchup only guy.
Move on to the fifth one, because you were a fly on my wall on this fifth one. It said, keep your promises. And then during the message, if you haven't heard the message, really invite you to go and listen to it. During the message, Johnny gave us a story about when he was 6 years old and a promise that his dad had made that he didn't end up keeping. And I'm sitting there in my seat thinking, man, I have a freshman, a 7th grader, a 4th grader, and a 5-month-old. And my 4th grader, she asks for all kinds of stuff. And I'm always like, yeah, sweetie, we'll get there one day. And it's no even intention of keeping it, just the intention of hoping she forgets.
And usually they do forget.
And then this chicken nugget hits me in the face, and I'm like, gosh,
yeah,
what am I supposed to do with this?
Oh my goodness! And most of the time they do forget, and then we never think about it, and then we sit in a service like this, and the Holy Spirit just drops that bomb on you, and you're like, how many times?
Yeah.
I mean, again, that you can listen to the sermon. We don't have time to get into it now, but all those many times that my dad was promising things. And that affects how I saw God the Father when I was introduced to Him. But the beauty is that when you break in your promises, there's enough grace and mercy that the Lord has blessed you with to be able to give to your daughters. And so didn't have any of that. I wasn't saved until I was 17, so I didn't understand. And then I had to totally rework that. So even if you've messed these things up, even in keeping the promises, just recognize that, go back to the first nugget, and then be able to, okay, I've got to ask for forgiveness for the things that I've done. And if we model that, our kids are going to pick up on it very, very quickly. They're really resilient.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And
And then finally, the last nugget, celebrate answered prayers.
we've got to do a better job of celebrating.
We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
We have the tendency to look at it as a task. Complete one task, then you move on to the next one. It's like, cool, it's done. What's next? And in the midst of all of that, the celebration goes without. So being intentional on celebrating things is something I have to force myself to do personally. Realize the answered prayer when you receive it, and take time to celebrate. Take time before starting that next task to really celebrate what God's doing.
And realizing that celebrating can just be drawing attention to it, or it could be actually doing something as a family because something big happened. Obviously, the story that I used was coming into Texas from Kentucky was a big celebration for us. And often we are still celebrating those little minute things. And so sometimes it's just like I'm drinking a Monster out of a coffee cup, So I wanted to treat myself today.
You are drinking a Monster out of a coffee cup.
I've got a Monster right here.
This is crazy.
Out of a coffee cup, because I didn't want to just have to turn the whole thing. But anyway, so I'm celebrating today because, man, yesterday was such a good day. And I think that the Holy Spirit moved, and we're hoping that as you are in your life groups and you've watched this video, you're going to have some discussion questions from the facilitators. And I'm pretty sure our time is up, but this was.
Do we ever not go over time?
Not for me. There's a little red dot on it or something. It's like, does that mean keep going? And so I just want to say this to you. Thank you for watching the video. Thanks for watching the YouTube video of the service. And we're hoping that this helps you make disciples that make disciples that makes disciples, everyday disciple. And so we will see you again then in 2 weeks.
See you then.
Bye.